Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to Rextall Place Ice, number 34, Fernando Pisani. Number 21, Andrew Ferret. Number 24, Danny Arndt.
And the parade of former Oilers continues here at Rextall Place. And Mark, when you think of the tradition and how far we've come, even technologically, the first game, November 10th, 1974, wasn't on TV because the TV truck couldn't get close enough. And now we're across the country.
Well, it's amazing when you think of some of Gretzky's greatest records and some of the great Oiler games. Like, you know, they used to go into Philadelphia once a year, and you really wanted to watch that game. But I grew up in this town, and if they went on a 5-game Eastern swing, maybe 3 of them were on TV. And the other ones, you listen to Rod Phillips. Like, religiously, you listen to Rod Phillips.
And, of course, we had the opportunity to listen to Bob Cole tonight. He was the voice of the Stanley Cup championship years in the 80s. And that was a time where you were just a young guy thinking about becoming a Pulitzer Prize-winning author.
Absolutely. And, you know, I grew up in Edmonton, Kevin, and like every guy, my first pro hockey was the WHA. My father, when Bobby Hull came to town with the Jets, said, "We're going to the rink, son. We're going to the Edmonton Gardens to watch Bobby Hull." We saw Gordie Howe. And, you know, Mess said to us between periods that, God, just watching the Oilers play when he was a kid was something. Whoever thought they'd be in the NHL? And here we are today, you know, 5 cups later, moving into the next building, and it seems like it happened in about 5 minutes, man.
You and I covered this guy, Marty Reisner.
Number 9, Bernie Nichols. Number 34, Brent Green. Number 9, Shane Corson. Number 10, Steve Kelly. Number 45, Sean Bell. Number 12, Josh Green. Number 4, Ray McKay. Assistant coach, Bob McCammon.
Bob McCammon being introduced, and you get this many guys together, you're going to have some stories, because George Larac was saying that you never get to see these guys. You have an event like this, they all come together, and all the stories start flowing back.
Well, and you want stories, go hang around KG. Bob McCammon, I got to cover that team, and the coaching staff was Teddy Green, Bob McCammon, and of course head coach Ron Lowe. And what a bunch of fun guys, what a bunch of storytellers. Just fantastic guys who travel 1,000,000 miles in the hockey world. And KG McCammon, I don't know, have I met a funnier guy in hockey than him? I'm not sure that I have.
And, you know, things have changed. We talked about the technology, but access. You know, I read Jim Matheson, I heard you talk about certain things, about being able to just wander back, sit down and have 15, 20-minute conversations. Doesn't happen that often right now.
No, I guess we got to know the players and the coaches. Certainly, I remember going out with that coaching staff on the road and shooting pool till midnight. I don't think that happens as much. I remember walking in when practice started and the players left the room, Kevin, the media could just go right into the room and grab a cup of coffee. And those days, I think, are over.
I think that was one of the biggest things for me being here, was the fact that as soon as the first player entered the room was open. And that's something, like you said, we don't see that anymore. So what was it like for you covering your first NHL game? We've talked about these players and what it was like to come back here, but for a kid who's growing up in this town, what was it like to come into this building for the first time as a professional writer?
Yeah, I came in, my first time in the press box would have been, I was working for the Gateway, the U of A newspaper, and God bless Bill Tuelli, the media relations man of the time, of course. he always knew, he gave a press pass to the guy, the sports editor at the Gateway, and the sports director at CJSR, that's a U of A radio station, because he thought, you know, these two young guys are going to want to meet all the media. They're going to want to experience this. It really became part of my education as a young sports writer. I watched how Jimmy Matheson and Terry Jones and all the pros did their job, and I thank Bill Tuoley last night for it, because, you know, without that, who knows where you end up, Kevin.
And Bill Tuoley is here, and he was one of those guys that made sure that when the first player was off, the room was open, and it was a full access. Who's that guy?
Bobby Falkenberg. Remember him as a player, and I remember him as a beer rep.
What about that other guy? Wearing number 99. Of course, you get the feeling it wouldn't take much to know that he is going to be the last guy introduced. Right now, let's continue the introductions.
General Manager Peter Chiarelli. Oilers head coach Tom McClellan. And the rest of your Oilers coaching staff. Jay Woodcroft, Jim Johnson, Dustin Schwartz, Miles Fee.
And what a first year for a coaching staff. A lot of these guys, of course, were in San Jose last year. They come to Edmonton this year, and they participate in the closing. They coach the last game for the Edmonton Oilers in this building.
And you know, we've all got to know Kevin McClellan pretty well this year. Peter Chiarelli as well, but maybe less so, because we talk to the coach every day, of course, and we don't talk to the general manager every day. But a smart hockey guy with history, right? Kevin McClellan. Tom McClellan played
like this, that's okay.
He worked in Detroit. A lot of history there. He built some history in San Jose. Now he comes here. He grew up in Saskatchewan, Kevin. Very appreciative of the history here. He said he was nervous before this game, which is odd for a man of his stature. He realizes the gravity of what we're doing here tonight, and really was proud to be part of it.
Back to Mark.